நிறைய பேர் they want to contribute $1,000, $2,000, $30,000. என்னத்தை வேணா அப்படி தர்றாங்க. அசோக் வந்து $5,000.
ஃபண்ட் கிரன்ச் தான் நமக்கு.
அதனால ஃபைனான்ஸ்
ஒண்டர்ஃபுல் திங்ஸ் வே ஆஃப் ஃபண்ட்ஸ். ஃபண்ட்ஸ் இல்லை.
ஃபண்ட்ஸ் இருக்கு.
நமக்கு இருக்கு கொடுக்க மாட்டேங்க.
கவர்மெண்ட்ல இருக்கு. அதுதான்
இது ஆள் கொடுத்தாங்களே வாடகை வாங்குறாங்களா?
அதான் கேள்வி கேட்டீங்க. பிரசுக்காரன் சொல்லி வெளியே போட்டுருவான்.
இப்படி வீரம்
வருது சார், வருது சார், வருது. ஆப்போசிட் போகிறீங்களா சார்?
Dear alumni, let us welcome Dean Dr. Nirmala and to inaugurate our conference hall. Good evening, everyone. Sister Angappa, Ashwati, Pranav. வா முன்னாடி வா, அங்கே என்ன இப்படி இங்கே முன்னாடி நிற்பா கண்ணம்மா. வாங்க மேடம். A blessing for the students. Thank you very much. Dr. Manikaraj will cut the ribbon and open the alumni office. Thank you. One madam. Friends, you can get in, and I request Dr. Ramamurthy and Dean Nirmala to unveil the portrait of our gurus. நீங்கள் ஒரு பக்கம் மேடம், நீங்கள் அந்த பக்கம் அந்த கயிறு மாதிரி இருக்கும் அந்த லாஸ்ட்டில். ராமமூர்த்தி சார் நீங்கள் இந்த டோருக்கு பின்னாடி ரெண்டு பேரும் சைமல்டேனியஸா. ஓகே, now our gurus you can see starting from Dr. Veera Swami and his colleagues, Dr. TKG, Dr. Raman Kutti, Dr. K. Padmanabhan Pranesh, Dr. Vani, and Dr. KSS, CVS, and Dr. Raja Chandran. These are the gurus who had served us and taught us so much of the basic, and we are fondly remembered of our teachers. Dr. Geetanjali, can you unveil the sim lab and the screen and nadu pirikkanum. Now Dr. Geetanjali will unveil the sim lab. Thank you. May I request Dr. Kalyanan Sundaram to live demo the sim lab by doing an intubation.
So, good evening all of you, respected Dean Madam, respected seniors, colleagues, juniors and friends. Good evening to all of you. So, first of all, I thank you, the Global Alumni Association, for sponsoring this wonderful set of sim lab. So, intubation skills should be known to everyone. So, we should not wait for the anesthetist or a critical care physician to intubate so that we can save a life. So now I am going to demonstrate the technique of intubation. So, once in ICU or OT, after giving proper anesthetic, the patient is brought to the end of the table so that it is convenient for you and patient. So, there are three maneuvers by which we can open up the airway. One is head tilt, another is chin lift, third one is jaw thrust. By doing all these maneuvers, we can open up the airway so that unconscious patient will maintain. So we can easily maintain mask ventilation on an unconscious patient. After ensuring adequate mask ventilation, intubation is, so we are ensuring that the patient is ventilated adequately with the mask. After ensuring this adequate mask ventilation, so we are all, most of us are all right-handed individuals, so we are using a non-dominant hand for doing laryngoscopy. So we are introducing the laryngoscopy on the right corner of the mouth. The tongue is lateralized to the left so that working space will be more. So once we see the base of the epiglottis, we have to stop introducing further the laryngoscopy. So we have to lift upwards and forwards to visualize the glottic opening, vocal cords. Now intubation is done. So we have to confirm with by checking the bilateral air entry. So now the air entry is visible. So with the introduction of video laryngoscopy, intubation is simpler, training also very simple. Oh, okay. Now you can appreciate the right side on. So now you can see the vocal cords easily. So training will be easier. Even untrained persons or paramedical persons can be taught easily. So the bougie is introduced. So endotracheal tube is railroaded over the bougie. Okay. So the video laryngoscopy has made our job more easier. So we have successfully intubated the patient now. Okay. So thank you for the opportunity given to me. Thanks.
Check. E-library will be inaugurated by Dr. Ramalingam, sir.
Thank you very much, every one of the CMC alumni for joining together to give the provision for the young gen medicos to learn more very easily at their laptop or even mobile. At anywhere in the world, they can access 10,000 journals and 10,000 medical books all the time. So thank you, every alumni. Now we request Dr. P.C. Raju, our beloved teacher from whom I learned the basics of surgery, to open the webinar hall. Sir, webinar hall. Madam, Dean Madam, Madam. Sir. Get in. It's a very special occasion. We have our beloved teacher starting. Thank you so much, sir. You want to say a few words? Want to say a few words, you can.
Now or later?
Okay.
Later.
Okay. Yeah. Program. Yeah. Now I invite Dean Dr. Nirmala to come to the dais, occupy the chair. Dr. Vani, Dr. Ramamurthy, Kannan. Now we will have the special occasion to inaugurate the academic activities by lighting the lamp. May I request Dr. Nirmala, Dr. Vani, Dr. Aruna, Dr. Kirtiga to come and light the lamp, and Dr. Kannan will do the prayer song. Dr. Geetanjali, please join us.
கலையாத கல்வியும் குறையாத வயதுமோர் கபடு வாராத நட்பும் கன்றாத வளமையும் குன்றாத இளமையும் கழுபிணியில்லாத உடலும் சலியாத மனமுமன் பகலாத மனைவியும் தவறாத சந்தானமும் தாழாத கீர்த்தியும் மாறாத வார்த்தையும் தடைகள் வாராத கொடையும் தொலையாத நிதியமும் கோணாத கோலும் ஒரு துன்பமில்லாத வாழ்வும் துய்யனின் பாதத்தில் அன்புதவி பெரிய தொண்டரொடு கூட்டு கண்டாய் அலையாழி அறிதுயிலும் ஆயனது தங்கையே ஆதி கடவுரின் வாழ்வே அலையாழி அறிதுயிலும் ஆயனது தங்கையே ஆதி கடவுரின் வாழ்வே அமுதீசர் ஒரு பாகம் அகலாத சுகபாணி அருள்வாமி அபிராமியே அமுதீசர் ஒரு பாகம் அகலாத சுகபாணி அருள்வாமி அபிராமியே
Anand, do you play the Dr. Nagamala's video? Done. Okay. Now I request Dr. Nirmala, Dr. Vani, Dr. Ramamurthy to remain in the chairperson's thing. Dr. Avadiyappan, please come and join the chair. Dear friends, it's a great start of a journey where we are going to unconditionally provide the facilities for our next gen medicos to use the facilities to learn more, start projects, do researches. We have to make our institution as one of the best in the country and if possible one of the best in the world. So we have our chairpersons, Dr. Nirmala, Dean of the Coimbatore Medical College and a very good surgeon I know for long and a mentor of surgical registrars and a very able administrator. We are proud to actually call her COVID buster as she had managed the COVID situation like nobody else. And it was very, very special to really be a part of her team in doing that, and she has been wonderful in managing the crisis. And we have Dr. Vani, senior to me, and a very kind doctor, one of the very, very few of her whom I have come across, so nice to patients, so very friendly to patients, and she has become no wonder very famous gynecologist. Next slide. Dr. Bimala was supposed to be here, and she probably may join us virtually. Belongs to 66 batch, and she has interest in the laparoscopy and owns a hospital, Akshaya Nursing Home. And teacher of teachers is Dr. Ramamurthy, 69 batch, very active alumnus, and has been a professor of surgery in Coimbatore Medical College for more than 2 decades, very respectable teacher, and the students are so happy to learn the basics from him, and he has organized many laparoscopic workshops, one of its kind in government hospitals in Coimbatore Medical College. Thank you very much for joining us, sir. And virtually we have our alumnus, Dr. Chandrasekhar, an orthopedic surgeon, and he has specialized in onco-orthopedic surgery in UK, and he has special interest in that area, and he is a very active alumnus, trying to club people and gel everybody together. Thank you very much to be coming live, sir. And Dr. Avadiyappan, our own alumnus who has been very active in the past nearly 1.5 decades to bring people together and do whatever good deeds possible by him, even to develop gold medals for the best outgoing students. Thank you very much for joining us, sir. Now I have the pleasant job to invite Dr. Shanmugaraj to give the welcome address. Dr. Sumati. Dr. Shanmugaraj belongs to 70 batch. He is a urologist. He went to UK to get the FRCS degree and became a urologist interested in laparoscopy and robotic surgery. And he is training the undergraduates. In the CMC, we were together in many of the teams like volleyball and all. He was one of the best athletes at that time for nearly 5 years, brought so many medals to Coimbatore Medical College. He was instrumental in launching the global CMC alumni to bring all these facilities to our alma mater. Thank you, Dr. Shanmugaraj. We invite you to give the welcome address. Anand.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am Dr. Shanmugaraj from CMC 1970 batch, and I practice urology in London. On behalf of the CMC alumni, I welcome the Dean, Dr. Nirmala, the faculties, respectable teachers, young doctors of CMCH, and medical students of CMC to this grand occasion. It is my great honor to deliver this welcome address for two reasons. Firstly, it's a golden jubilee of celebrations of 1971 batch. They are so magnanimous for choosing me in spite of all the ragging we did to them 50 years ago. Thank you, guys. Secondly, it's a launching of electronic library, webinar hall, and simulation lab to promote the young doctors of Coimbatore Medical College to meet the international standards. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to remind the famous quotation from Mahatma Gandhi: empower the youth and enrich the nation. So along that line, within 5 minutes of my time, I would like to empower the young doctors of CMC with 3 take-home messages. The first take-home message: use of digital technology. 50 years ago, in my generation, we struggled with only communication of landline telephone. But younger generation nowadays, they are lucky with the revolutionized digital technology. For instance, mobile phone, Facebook, the communication is faster. Google spreadsheet helping you create the database collection faster. YouTube is helping you to disseminate your seminars faster. So please use digital technology. My second message is social responsibility for all of us. The first segment of our lifetime, which is 30 years, we spent in the school, the colleges, and achieved our qualifications, thanks to our parents and teachers. The second segment of 30 years was spent for the welfare of our children. The final 30 years, maybe a bit less for some people, is dedicated to the social responsibility. CMC alumni is aware of this final segment and determined to support our parent institute. which is Coimbatore Medical College and Coimbatore Medical College Hospital. My third message is how we put into practice our social responsibility. Ladies and gentlemen, to explain this, I have taken War and Peace model. War and Peace model. The original War and Peace was a novel written by Leo Tolstoy of Russia in 1869. In this novel, this first component explains about the impact of war of Russia by Napoleon in 1812. The second component is allotted for the rebuilding of Russian people, including their aristocrats. So I extrapolated this to our social responsibility activities. Since March 2021, the healthcare professionals in CMCH were facing the COVID war. I call this first component. During this period, Dr. Rajesh from USA, Dr. Balavengat from Coimbatore, and many more from Alumni joined Dr. Nirmala and other faculties to battle against COVID war. Dr. Nirmala made a presentation in our London Zoom meeting on 4th July about how she handled this COVID war. And we honored the team as COVID busters. Thank you. Since June 2021, we started our peacetime activities. I call this second component. Dr. Ashok Kumar from 1970 batch initiated the Global Alumni, and we inaugurated it on 6th June. Since then, it grew up exponentially. We worked hard, and here we are today to launch e-library, seminar hall, and SimLab. Our special thanks goes to Dr. Ramalingam, Dr. Sajani, Dr. Murugavel, and all others from 1971 batch. CMC alumni in US was very generous, and they are paying the subscription of the electronic journals, thanks to those who made contributions. CMC alumni in UK, they donated a mobile ultrasound scan machine. Thank you all those in UK. We also received a major support and contributions from local alumni, Dr. Manikaraj, Dr. Ramamurthy, Dr. Avudayappan, and many more. Finally, our team will continue to work on the establishment of SimLab, subsequently its use in the community by training people and populate first responders to provide CPR, cardiopulmonary resuscitation, to the people on the road and on the street. All this will happen with the help of Dr. Nirmala. Thank you for listening.
Dr. Shanmuraj, now it is the time to honor our chairpersons. I request Dr. Geetanjali to honor our Dean, Dr. Nirmala, by கொடுங்க கொடுங்க நீங்கள் போத்தி விடுங்க நான் கொடுக்குறேன். Now we have Dr. Ashok Kumar Gupta to honor Dr. Ramamurthy. Teacher of teachers and friends for long. Joyful moment. And now I request Dr. Aruna Devi to honor Dr. Vani Mohan. Yes, ma'am. இப்படி வரீங்களா? Thank you, madam, for being kind enough to be here. And may I request Dr. Arul Selvan to honor Dr. Avudayappan. Dr. Arul is a very active alumni, and Avudayappan no less than that. Avudayappan has done wonders in the last 15 years, and thank you for all the kindness, sir. The next in agenda will be the inaugural address by Dr. Ashok Kumar. So he belongs to 70 batch, just 1 year senior to me, and he was a very popular university hockey player and very kind gentleman. He had moved to US to get trained in pulmonology and joined in the army. He served even in the battlefield, so we call him hero of battles. And he has received many awards by being the Outstanding Voluntary Service Medal and in the humanitarian grounds. So we welcome you, Dr. Ashok, to give your inaugural address.
Good evening, honorable guests and fellow alumni. It is an honor to be given this opportunity to present the genesis of the Coimbatore Medical College Global Doctors Alumni Association. In April 2021, the inspiration to form an alumni association came from observing actions by Dr. Nirmala, our dean, Dr. Balavenkat, Dr. Rajesh, and many more individual alumni and individual batches in handling the COVID crisis. We admired how our alumni from across the globe came together in support of our alma mater to manage the crisis. Dr. Rajesh in May started the CMC and Overseas Alumni WhatsApp page to coordinate the pandemic relief activities. We saw several postings on that page trying to network and reconnect. Dr. Shanmuraj and I, at that point, requested the participants to restrict postings on that forum with activities related to COVID relief and offered to start a WhatsApp page dedicated to global alumni to come together for networking and reconnecting. Dr. Shanmuraj introduced Dr. Sumati Lakshman and Dr. C.R. Chandrasekharan to me. On May 23rd, Dr. Sumati and Dr. Chandra floated the idea of a Coimbatore Medical College Doctors Alumni. Soon, Dr. Sajani and Dr. Nagamalar gravitated to this group and became the first six to plan developing a global Doctors Alumni. Communication with all alumni is the key to create an organization that represents us all. In May, Dr. Chandra released the Google Sheet with that in mind and requested all to enter the data so that we will have a means to contact a wide segment of the alumni living around the globe. The first order of business was to review all alumni activities in the past, OSIM, Facebook groups, WhatsApp groups. We contacted Dr. Manikaraj, Dr. Avudayappan, and Dr. Murali and sought their advice about starting a global alumni association that could support the Coimbatore Medical College, its faculty, and students with collaboration with administration. We have had valuable input from Dr. Khalil from 1967 batch, Dr. Ashok Kumar Gupta, 1968 batch, which we have incorporated in our planning. We learn to be effective and to ensure longevity, it is required to create a well-structured and well-designed organization involving alumni from across the decades. Ask the beneficiaries what they need. Avoid telling them, this is what we are going to do for you. Create a core group of alumni who live in Coimbatore to do the groundwork. We started looking for a model for the Alumni Association. We looked at the universities and high schools in US and their alumni associations. We looked at CMC Vellore and Stanley Medical College alumni associations. Dr. Lakshmi Sheshadri presented us CMC Vellore model. On June 6th, we conducted the first Global Alumni Association Zoom meeting, and we repeated that on June 13th to reach the Australian alumni. We started the WhatsApp group on June 6th. We presented our mission statement structure to the group and modified them based on suggestions from those meetings. Our mission statement is, the alumni will provide support to the Coimbatore Medical College and Hospital, specifically the administration, faculty, and current students, with engagement of all past graduates in a united effort, fostering a mutual affiliation between the college and global alumni, with the goal of our college becoming a world-class institution, providing the best care for patients. This is our structural diagram, which is clumsy. On the left is the structural components. On the right is the administrative structure. The gist of the structural component is that each entity, for example, each badge will function with autonomy with its own leadership, financial management, and social activities and philanthropic activities, but will support the global alumni in its mission and goals. On the right, the only thing I have to stress is the council, which will be the administrative structure, replacing the current administrative structure in January 2022. The council will be formed by 2 representatives from each batch. We chose an emblem submitted by Mr. Adit Nandan in July. The administrative team grew to 30 with addition of like-minded individuals, and we called ourselves the launch team. We made sure that we had enough representation from alumni from India and from all age groups. We knew that the legitimate administrative team will be the one elected by the individual batches. These are the launch team members. I will leave it for a few seconds for you to read the names. The first project, Education Center. Dr. Ramalingam met with Dr. Nirmala, our dean, and asked her what are the immediate needs for her from her perspectives. On top of the list she provided was e-library. Meanwhile, Dr. Kannan did a survey and found that the students' priority was to have a restroom that they could use at the hospital and an e-library. So the 1971 batch initiated the project. The Global Alumni Association joined this effort, and the result is what we are seeing today. Accomplished in just 3 months because of the tireless work by Dr. Ramalingam and support from Dr. Nirmala, our dean. We have formed committees. The first 2 committees we have launched are the Education and Academics Committee, the Web Page, Social Media, and IT Support Committee. We will be releasing the Project Review Committee and Finance Committee soon, and also the Arts, Sports, Culture, and Holistic Group Committee. In the future, we will be releasing Network and Communication Committee and Students and Mentoring Counseling Committee. The Education and Academics Committee, what is the purpose? To develop educational and academic activities on behalf of the alumni to benefit the faculty, students, and rest of the alumni. The co-chair of that committee are Dr. Ramalingam, who will be in charge of the Learning Center at the hospital, and the other co-chair will be Dr. Bala Venkat, who will be in charge of the virtual classrooms for students, consultation network for each subspecialty, skills workshops, labs outside the college. The current members of the Academics and Education Committee are listed here. I will leave it on for a few seconds for you to read. The website management, social media, and IT support committee. The purpose of that committee is to maintain website and social media pages on behalf of the alumni, manage the e-library, and provide ID recommendations and advise the council and board of directors when it comes to IT matters. The chairman of the committee is Dr. Chandrasekhar, and the members of the committee are listed here. We have established a trust account. Dr. Soundarraj from 1970 batch has been appointed as the treasurer. Board of trustees have been appointed. A deed defining the purpose of the charitable trust has been written by the auditors and attorneys. We will be registering the organization and obtain PAN card to open a bank account. The target date for operation is December 2021. The next important steps for us to take is to launch other crucial committees, to develop a good faculty liaison. We will be meeting with them in September by Zoom, establish a core group of leaders from Coimbatore and arrange for a meeting, which will be also in September, write the bylaws by end of September for the first draft to be circulated. The future is in our hand. Together, we will continue our effort to establish a well-structured, well-organized alumni association that will endure time and will succeed in the mission. The sole purpose of this effort is to give back to the institution which gave us the foundation to start our career. Thank you for your time.
Madam, will you like to say thanks to Ashok? Anand?
Good evening to all. I thank especially Ashok Kumar sir for having initiated such a wonderful association to bring up our institutions to the greatest heights. I was actually, there is a need for library in our college. That's what I was wanting to do, but the COVID made me to not to progress in that. In the same time, the people approached me. I told them that we want the e-library. That is one thing. I may be selfish that I want it for an NMC purpose, but it is double way. It is going to be useful both for the students as well as to the NMC purpose. So I thank the initiative done by the Dr. Chandrasekhar and his team for the excellent work, so that the forthcoming batches and the younger generation will be very much benefited by this initiative. I am proud that in my period it has been launched in that way. I am very much thankful to you. The whole team, not many batches has volunteered me to do many more during my during the COVID crisis. I thank one and all. I take this opportunity to thank my fellow colleagues as well as the others who was the alumni, who is the alumni of this association, to come forward to help me in this crisis period. Thank you one and all.
Thank you for the kind words, madam. And friends, it's time to honor our teachers. We have with us the surgeon of our CMC, who served for more than 2 decades as a honorary surgeon. Those days, to have a surgeon working for the general hospital is such a honorable one. And we have Dr. P.C. Raju with us. He got trained in Edinburgh University to get his FRCS, and he was one of the early ones to start endoscopy training in our college. So the department has grown so much today, and we were fortunate to have you, sir, to start that program. And he had served as a honorary surgeon here, and I was fortunate to be one of his students. And every time I do a surgery, I am remembered of his free hand to us. He will say, you go and start the case. If there is any problem, I will step in. So in his memory, I am even growing a tree in my farm. The moment you enter my farm, I will see Shenbaga tree. So that will spread the fragrance for about 1 kilometer all around. So everybody trained by him will remember him forever. We are so thankful to you, sir. We want to honor you. Can you please come forward? Now I request Dr. Ramamurthy to honor Dr. P.C. Raju. And it is a point to note that he is a very nature lover and so you want to say a few words?
First of all, I thank one and all for giving me opportunity to come back to this institute after a gap of nearly 37 years. I left this institute, I joined the institute in 1970, I left in 1987. So 1987, this is the first time I'm stepping in. I see a remarkable change in the structure as well as the faculty. Now, with regard to the Global Association Alumni, I'm really amazed by the efforts and all the efforts you have put forward to bring up this platform. I think this is probably one of its kind in the Tamil Nadu, if I may say, probably first of its kind in India. This is something remarkable achievement, which I have no words to find out to appreciate. But to create a platform like this, which will be beneficial for the future students, future library, and so I don't know whose brainchild is this. I'm not sure it's whose brainchild. Now I seeing this, so many brainchildren have been involved in this. At Coimbatore, Ramalingam probably was a man behind the show. Thank you, Ramalingam. And you see, it's not just thought, it's a pure willingness, the effort, persistent determination, focusing on your job. First, you have to visualize what you are going to do. First, visualize and creative visualization. You may imagine and creative visualization. Now, what we see is manifestation. Today, we see the manifestation, the realization of your creative visualization. Congratulations to Ramalingam and all the team. So, I don't know, see, this thought of organizing this platform, I don't know, probably it has originated from one mind. Probably because he was focused and determined. His thought waves are very energetic. His thought waves must have been very energetic. With high frequency, with long waves. That's why it spread far and beyond all over the globe. And all over the globe, the alumni people in our Coimbatore Medical College, they had their antenna wide open to receive the message spread by Dr. Ramalingam and his team here. Wonderful. Remarkable achievement. I have no words to thank you. I am amazed. I am flattered. I am happy to be here today for Coimbatore Medical College Hospital, where I have been associated earlier on, is doing such a wonderful. Now, with regard to this COVID time, Dr. Nirmala, she's done a wonderful job. She's been admired by not only by the medical profession, by the society, by the politicians, everywhere. Not just, she has been admired by the patients, She must have, so many patients have thanked her, So that is, you want the thank from the patients, not from your co-workers, That is the one which has get a heartfelt thanks. Okay? No, I am really amazed. Thank everybody. Now, I'm just not stopping with these words of appreciation. If you will permit me, I want to give a small donation. Consider me as one of the faculty of alumni, teaching faculty of the Coimbatore. Consider me as one of the teaching faculty. You're all student faculty. As a teaching faculty, I like to donate a small amount to the...
I request Manikanna to come and receive. We will fill it up, sir. We will fill to any extent. I take the liberty. Thank you so much. It's very unique thought from you. None of us thought about it. It's such a wonderful. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks for the occasion. Wishing you all the best. And I want the alumni to grow as much as possible, to grow wide all over the world. And whatever help I can offer from my end, I'm always open. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your wonderful gesture. Really, we were taken aback. You still think of us in our well-being, in spreading the knowledge by providing further facilities. Thank you very much, sir. Now, it's time to read the messages sent by Professor Kalyan Raman and Dr. Anand.
Sir, introduction by Dr. Arna.
Yeah.
Dr. Arna, could you unmute yourself, please?
Dr. Aruna of 71 batch will say a few words of Dr. Kalyan Raman. Aruna?
Madam, could you unmute yourself?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Good
Perfect.
evening all. I am a proud member of this Golden Jubilee batch today. I am blessed on this memorable occasion to introduce our beloved Professor Dr. V.R. Kalyanaram to the august audience of former professors, teachers, present teachers, global alumni, and the budding doctors. He was the professor of microbiology for a decade in the early years of our medical college, and then he proceeded to pass in Shunur and then to produce the polio vaccine. He was a very good academician and a good guide for everyone during the times of stress and would give a helping hand to the students in trouble. He was involved in sport activities of the college also in those days, besides he himself being a cricketer and a tennis player. And we are proud to we are proud to being a pioneer in this polio vaccine in India. He has consented to virtually bless us now on this memorable occasion.
Hello everybody, I am Dr. V.R. Kalyanaraman, former professor of microbiology at Coimbatore Medical College, year 1968 to 78. Ladies and gentlemen, at the outset, I wish you all a happy reunion day to commemorate the completion of 50 years from the day you joined Coimbatore Medical College. You have gone through first 7 to 10 years the mill of learning from anatomy to clinical medicine and paraclinical subjects, and you joined then the internship and house agency and learned to work with the patients day and night, attend to emergencies, etc. Then you all ventured into the outside world. Some did post-graduation and followed it, and rest went into it straight away. So in various aspects, some of you became clinicians, some of you became specialists in certain subjects, and general practitioners, a variety of things you all did. Now, at the end of this, 40 years have gone, and you are here to combine and do what you have done so far as collective, individual measure. Now you are going to do as a collective measure. You are planning to form a alumni, and that too a global alumni, which will encompass membership from all batches that went out of medical college in Coimbatore, and you will be a force to reckon with. And you can plan what you have to do for the alma mater, the college and the hospital. You know best what is required in both of them. And you can decide and plan what is the prioritization of this help that you are planning. Now, while you are planning, you must also remember your plan helps not only the students but also the patient care in the hospital. And that I would like you to include also the rural care by looking into it by way of starting with a mobile van, establishing peripheral centers, and later in the long range establishing a model rural health center which will cater to the needs of the public in the rural areas. It will also become a training center for students and interns and also become a public health center for epidemiological studies of communicable diseases and non-communicable diseases. And it will be an extended arm for the hospital. The advantage for the hospital will be they will have their loads reduced and the specialists can lend an advisory hand in these centers from time to time. I am sure you will be planning many things and I wish you all a great success. May God bless you.
Sir, and then this is our words of appreciation, and it will reach you shortly. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, Aruna, for introducing Dr. Kalyan Raman. Next, Dr. GL.
Thank you.
And Dr. GL was supposed to be here with us today because of unforeseen incident with his close relatives. He was unable to join us, but he has sent a message that he came to Coimbatore just to teach students. He belongs to Chennai. He studied in UK and came back, and he could not get a honorary job in Madras Medical College. He was passionate about teaching, so he was looking for a place where he can get an appointment. He met Dr. Kurian. He said, why don't you join even tomorrow? You are a youngster, you are welcome to teach our students. So that's how he came to Coimbatore from Chennai. And then he was very passionate about teaching medicine to undergraduate and postgraduates. And he is very fond of taking the lecture on art of medicine. And he loves to talk on that subject. And he has written many books on humor. About 6 books he has written. And he sends a message that he wishes the alumni the very best in the future to come. And he would like to come and give a lecture on art of medicine in the very same dais in the very near future. So that's a message he has sent, and he wished all the best for us. Thank you very much, sir. I will keep in touch with you this evening once the funeral is over. It was 4 o'clock funeral of his very close relative. He even wanted to finish. If possible, I will join. That was the gesture he had towards the alumni. So we remember you, sir. Thank you very much. The word of appreciation and the certificate will reach you shortly. We would like to see you in action here very shortly. Next. Dr. Manikiraj will say a few words about Dr. Sivalingam, our ex-Dean.
Good evening, everybody. I am very fortunate to introduce Professor M. Sivalingam. He is a professor of dermatology who worked in this institute for nearly 20 years in his total service of 35 years in Tamil Nadu Medical Service. And when we as first batch students joined, we really enjoyed his approach to the patients, his compassion. He never distinguished patients from the hospital, from the patients from his private clinic. His approach is the same. And I have seen in his clinic distributing all the samples for poor patients. And a sense of humor, which was hidden always behind the advice, I admire. And when we invited him for the function, our Golden Jubilees function 2016, he came, he climbed the stairs without any difficulty. He brought his 2 children who are alumni of our association, Dr. Kalachilvi and Dr. Kalpana. I think many of you may know. Kalachilvi belongs to 75 batch and Kalpana belongs to 83 batch. By mistake, I think they mentioned 2 daughters. He has got 4 daughters. out of which 2 are alumni and 2 are non-medical. And his nature was the typical example of friend, philosopher and guide. Can't forget him. And sir, he's still the same cheerful smile, and he's still, because of his age and inability, is not able to come, but he's enjoying his life, and all 4 daughters are taking turns to look after him. That's a blessing. Thank you very much.
Thank you for the kind words, sir. We'll send the certificate through you, sir. Doctor, now I invite Dr. Vani to say a few words about Dr. Seniammal.
A most beloved, highly respected and motherly Ojesian, none other than our beloved Professor Dr. Seniammal. And she was an excellent teacher as well, inspiring many of us. And I, being an Ojesian myself, without my knowledge, I've tried to imitate Madam in several circumstances. So that shows the impact of Madam on several of us. And we really admire you, ma'am. And we always will remember you with a lot of love, affection, respect, and gratitude. Good evening.
Thank you, madam. Now, the certificate of appreciation can be sent through someone. And I request Professor Dr. Ramamurthy to say a few words about Dr. Balakrishnan.
Good evening to everybody. Respected Madam Dean Dr. Nirmala, my teacher Dr. P.C. Raju sir, my colleagues, my junior colleagues, my students, all of you, I say good evening and thank you for this opportunity. And regarding Dr. Balakrishnan, fondly known as KBK, is a very disciplined surgeon. There are 2 things in the life of a surgeon, especially in the medical college. One is the teacher capacity which they are having and the surgical capacity. First, I'll tell you about the teacher in Dr. KBK. He is such a good teacher. When we joined in Coimbatore Medical College and we entered into the initial clinical postings to surgery, he was a registrar of surgery department. Sir may be knowing. At that time, he will not ask us to go here and there to search for somebody, to teach somebody. He will say, all of you should come to my room. He will take all of us to the cases to show what is swelling, what is ulcer, what are the signs, what are the symptoms, all those things for those 3 weeks. We used to have 3 weeks introductory posting. All 3 weeks, he himself will take the class, taking us to every ward. That's a teaching interest our KBK sir has had. I wish you should be hearing this when we are talking. And next is his surgical ability. He is a very good head and neck surgeon. Some of his procedures are unique and he has introduced a lot of flap rotations and other things during our days in head and neck surgery. And his procedure of carotid transposition to give intra-arterial chemotherapy to head and neck tumors became later as interventional procedure for intra-arterial chemotherapy to head and neck lesions. So his carotid transposition, you can never forget. Examiners from various colleges, when they come, they will ask us, can you demonstrate to us that procedure? And I have taken people from JIPMER, because I was there in JIPMER for some time. When Dr. Mehta came here as an examiner, he wanted to see that procedure, carotid transposition. I told Dr. KBK and he showed him how it is being done. He followed it in JIPMER later. So such a great surgeon. So we are thankful to give you this tribute, sir. We wish you all the best, health, wealth, and other things in the life. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, for your kind words. Thank you, chairpersons, for being with us and made this occasion very memorable one. Now we will move on to the second session. And now I request Dr. Manikiraj, Dr. Kalyana Sundaram to come to the dais. I will join them. May I request Dr. Ramamurthy to so may I request Dr. PCR to honor Dr. Manikiraj. Kanna? Kanna? Arul Selvan to Kalyan Sandra.
I request Dr. Arul Selvan sir to honor Kalyana Sundaram sir. And I now request Ashok Kumar Gupta sir to honor Ramalingam sir. And move on to the second session. And we request Dr. Lashmi Shashadri, Dr. Satya Subramani to join us virtually. May I request Dr. Lashmi Shashadri to introduce Dr. Shashadri. Madam, welcome.
Thank you. I have the unique honor of introducing Professor Mandalam Subramaniam Seshadri, usually known as MS Seshadri, who belongs to the MBBS batch of 1967 and was the best outgoing student of that batch. And in addition, passed with the first class through all the years of MBBS at the Madras University, and the only one to do so during our times, the past and the next batches. I don't know about the subsequent batches, of course. He then went on to do his MD in General Medicine in Christian Medical College and Hospital, Vellore, and then to do his PhD in endocrinology at the University of Sydney, Australia. And his area of work was bone and mineral metabolism. He was conferred Fellow of Royal College of Physicians, Edinburgh, subsequently. In addition to teaching, where he has trained several batches of undergraduate and postgraduate students, students in super specialty as well as PhD, he has shown a very keen interest in research and has been part of the clinical epidemiology unit and has been involved in research and has published about 120 articles in peer-reviewed journals. Now, he was the founder he returned from Australia after his completion of PhD and was a founder of Department of Endocrinology, Diabetes and Metabolism in CMC Hospital, Vellore, and retired as professor and head of the department and is currently working as honorary medical director and consultant physician at the Thirmalai Mission Hospital, Ranipet, Vellore, and is involved in community work and mainly in non-communicable diseases, the prevention and management. He continues to be involved in research and is on the research committee of Thirmalai Hospital as well as the Shefflin Research Institute, Karigiri, Vellore. He was the recipient of the Indian Council of Medical Research Eminence in Oration Award in metabolic bone disease in 2008. He received the Lifetime Achievement Award in Endocrinology, Code India 2013. He received the annual Lifetime Research Award and Duration, Princeton Medical College and Hospital 2016, and the Outstanding Alumnus from Coimbatore Medical College Award in 2017, in addition to several other orations and awards. He has several, as I already mentioned, in addition to the several publications in the last 1.5 years, he has been shown a keen interest in the current pandemic and has over 40 publications, including in scientific journals and newspaper in the newspapers, mainly with the view to educate and inform the public, the profession, and the polity regarding corona epidemic. The most important achievement of his that I cannot fail to mention is that he's married to Professor Lakshmi, who has, in addition to providing support and encouragement, has also been the harshest critic of all the work that he has done. Over to Professor Seshad.
Thank you, madam, for coming live. And it's always a lady behind, a great person. And we welcome Dr. Seshadri to deliver the keynote address on overview of clinical research. Welcome, Dr. Seshadri.
Respected teachers and dear friends, I consider it an honor and a privilege to be with you today evening to talk about clinical research over the next 10 minutes. The word research implies careful, detailed, systematic investigation into a specific problem, concern, or issue using the scientific method in order to establish facts and reach new conclusions. This process needs a mentor, mentees, an enabling environment, and adequate resources. The sequence and evolution of research can be considered under the following headings. A research idea is generated, a literature review conducted, lacunae in knowledge and practices identified. And these help to formulate the research question, which should be answered with a yes or no. Feasibility and time frame are very important. If there are ethical concerns, they need to be addressed, ethics clearance should be approved, and research funding obtained. Data collection, analysis with statistics are vital for arriving at conclusions. Writing of the final report for the institutional review board and funding agency are a prelude to the eventual publication of the piece of research. A research idea is something that is very important. In 1979, when I was a junior lecturer in medicine, during ward rounds, we discussed a patient with a pleural effusion. The question was whether the effusion in this patient was due to infection by TB bacilli or whether it was a hypersensitivity response to tuberculoprotein. The textbook wisdom at that time was that TB bacilli are rarely cultured from pleural fluid, therefore it's not an infection, maybe hypersensitivity. A literature review provided no clear-cut evidence either way, and an MD student, Dr. Satish Kumar, decided to take this up for his MD thesis. The null hypothesis was effusion in TB is not due to infection with bacilli. The plan was to study all consecutive exudative lymphocyte-dominant pleural effusions over a year's time. The gold standard was the response to anti-TB treatment with full resolution of all features in 3 months. The method employed was to collect adequate pleural fluid, pleural biopsy tissue for AFP culture, and send pleural tissue also for histopathology. The results were surprising. AFP cultures were positive in 88% of cases, and histopath was positive for granuloma in 60%. The conclusion was that the null hypothesis was rejected, and TB pleural effusion was confirmed to be due to infection with TB bacilli. The study was published in BMJ, and this was the stepping stone for Dr. Satish Kumar's career, who is currently a renowned nephrologist in Oklahoma, USA. When it comes to undergraduate research, time frame and feasibility are vital because they can do only a short project. 2 undergraduates approached our department. Glucometers had just entered the Indian market. A lot of complaints from patients and ward staff. Glucometer reading and lab values do not tally. The research question was, what is the correlation between glucometer and lab glucose reading? The students went to the blood collection area with a glucometer and checked capillary blood glucose on patients undergoing routine blood glucose tests. They documented this in a sheet and submitted it to the department. And the junior consultant documented the lab value at the end of the day. And the students were blinded because the lab values were available only to the junior consultant. A simple table was generated, a correlation coefficient was calculated. The conclusion was that there is an excellent correlation between capillary blood glucose and lab value. The glucometer readings show a variability of plus minus 20%, overestimation when the value is less than 80 milligram per deciliter, and underestimation when the value is more than 300. The reliable range with the glucometer, therefore, was 80 to 300 milligram per deciliter, a finding that provided useful guidelines for patients and ward staff using glucometers. The project was completed in 3 months. Eminently feasible, time frame optimal, useful information. Ethical concerns and ERB approval are vital for doing work on human beings because all information pertaining to individuals is confidential and ethical considerations are extremely important. Very good studies will never be published if ethical clearance was not obtained. Even for case reports nowadays, informed consent from the patient is mandated. Intervention trials have to be registered in a clinical trial registry. And let me illustrate this point with a recent example. We started a community level osteoporosis detection calcium vitamin D supplementation program. Women above age 50, 5 years postmenopausal, and men above age 55 were offered free evaluation for osteoporosis. Calcium vitamin D supplements were offered to those with osteopenia, osteoporosis. They were followed up at the field level by our field staff. 3 categories were identified: A, regular with treatment, B, irregular with treatment, and C, no treatment. The follow-up was for 2 to 8 years, the longest follow-up in India. Mean was 5 years. Fractures, falls, and mortality were recorded. Quality of life was studied in a subset from the groups after obtaining institutional review board clearance and ethics clearance. Those on regular calcium vitamin D supplements had significantly fewer fractures and fewer deaths, but there was no difference in falls or quality of life. They were sent for publication. This was an important piece of information for people practicing in India. The reviewer's query was, why did you not obtain IRB clearance for the entire program? Our justification was that intervention and follow-up are actually accepted practice, and IRB will not allow a placebo control in this kind of study. The journal editor accepted our explanation, but it was touch and go. We could have obtained ethics clearance for the entire program in the beginning. When it comes to research funding, it is good to have institutional research grants to provide seed money to start small projects. Once these are published, investigators apply to bigger funding agencies like ICMR, CSIR, or DBT. Bigger funding agencies prefer funding those with some published data. Let me explain with an example. One of my students decided to register for a PhD with me. We were dealing with nearly 100 pituitary tumors per year. The broad area of research was pituitary disorders. Funding was from a small fluid research grant for CMC. And after 5 years, he had obtained his PhD and he had 2 key publications. But we had several studies with familial endocrine tumors. We wanted to start a genetic screening program for multiple endocrine neoplasia. We easily got a CSIR finding to set up this facility on the basis of past publications. This resulted in 3 key publications, and by then my student was already an established investigator, and getting further funding was made easy. When you write up the final report for the IRB or the funding agency, submit the report on time. Investigators who stick to timelines are appreciated and are more likely to get the next grant. The report should be structured and comprehensive. Tables and graphs should be self-explanatory, and final conclusions should be presented clearly. Mention any further questions that have been raised by your research. Provide details on how the grant was utilized. If you have a draft of a publication that you want to send for publication, enclose it along with your final report. Often research begets research. Research is often self-perpetuating. One question leads to another. This is the way that knowledge expands. I will explain this with an example. For my PhD, I had set up a sensitive bioassay for parathyroid hormone. The assay was not good enough to measure PTH in normal serum, and so I was disappointed because it was not clinically useful. My boss, Professor Posen, was not in the least worried. He asked me a series of what he called ignorant questions. He asked me, what about hypercalcemia of malignancy? The bioassay actually detected PTH-like material in extracts of tumors associated with hypercalcemia. This substance was later identified by others as PTH-related peptide. Can it detect PTH in rats? Rat PTH was 10 times as potent as human PTH, easily detected by bioassay in normal rat serum. And Pettifor's hypothesis that calcium deprivation alone, in spite of normal vitamin D intake, causes osteomalacia and severe secondary hypoparathyroidism, was confirmed for the first time in a rat model. Human PTH 1 to 34 was available by then for investigational use in humans, and he asked me, can you measure PTH in people who receive these infusions? I studied this and calculated the half-life of human PTH 1 to 34 to be 2.9 minutes. This was the new fact that was established. He had some unusual tumors which caused osteomalacia stored in liquid nitrogen. He asked me, how about these tumors? Do they have PTH-like bioactivity? And some of them did. By the time I attempted answering all his ignorant questions, my thesis was ready. I had 7 publications in reputed journals. And most importantly, I understood how a mentor thinks and works. When I became a mentor, I encouraged my students to take up their own areas of interest. Now it is my turn to ask them all these ignorant questions. My students are more than willing to try and find answers. They do a PhD in addition to their DM or DPNB. They've all become serious investigators and mentors now, and the torch of research is carried on by generations of students. Thank you very much for a patient listening.
Thank you, Dr. Seshadri, for your phenomenal achievement, and we are all motivated so much that you have made us so proud, and we are delighted to have you deliver the keynote address. We are looking forward to your physical presence and many more such webinars done in this same hall in the future. Thank you so much. Now the next program will be inviting Professor Krishna Haribhaskar, a head and neck surgeon in UK, and he specializes in the ENT and head and neck surgery. He is a consultant ENT surgeon in Midlands, UK for the past 10 years. He is going to talk on overview of career pathways. Welcome, Dr. Haribhaskar.
Good evening, everyone. Greetings to you from Coimbatore Medical College Global Doctors Alumni Association. I'm Mr. Krishna Haribhaskaran from UK. We are all going to give you an overview of career pathways. We listen to you, students, through Kritika, what you want to know on this talk. Prof. Seshadri will give you a talk on the progression of the pathway in India within the next webinar. Although this slide looks very cramped and complex, I'm going to uncouple them and then we will come back to that later. In the UK, the training pathway is 2 years of foundation year training and then selection process before you go into the core medical training for another 2 years. With further selection, you move on to the specialty training for 4 to 6 years, depending on the subspecialty you're taking. For the GP, it's only 3 years. All the specialties have different years, which is assessed by knowledge-based assessment like exams and the workplace-based assessment, which we are going to see in detail in the next few slides. Before going into the training pathway, we need to get into the UK through GMC registrations. Either the traditional pathway is PLAB. You all know PLAB 1 is available in India. PLAB 2, you need to come to UK to pass it before getting a registration, and then is the non-training job, and then the core training before you move on to the specialty training. You can also come through the MRCP or MRCS, where the part 1 is available in India. Without that, also, the students have asked, is there any avenue to come directly to do other courses? Indeed, British universities, along with the NHS hospitals and medical royal colleges, accepts the international medical graduates of the undergraduate to do MSc course, for which you need to pay fees from 12,000 to 25,000. However, if you have done 3 years of post-graduation course, you could go on to the clinical MD or MCH course. If you get lucky, some of you will get paid, and that you can pay towards those fees. Where the medical training initiative by the Royal Colleges and the surgical colleges give international surgical training program, the details of which you can directly access through their websites. Of all these courses, what the General Medical Council is looking for, the good medical practice from you, the students and trainees, is the good knowledge, skills on top of it with the communication and the teamwork. However, you all need to understand from the deanery study done a few years ago that you need to come across with the communication of language and cultural barriers. You can see in the current training pathway, it is a free flow on the right side from FI1 to, after which you go on to the national selection training. After 2 years, you go for the MRCS. And after the intermediate training, you take the exit exam and do the advanced training. On the left, you can see the same pathway, but in the middle, you can see there is a grade called SAS grades, specialty doctor and associate specialist grade. That is the non-training pathway, but only 50% of them are successful, either moving into the training pathways or at the end through the CESR route to become a consultant. So during these trainings, what they assess is the supervised learning events based on knowledge, skills, and attitudes based on Miller's Pyramid. What is the workplace-based assessment is like case-based discussions or direct observation of the procedural skills as explained here. Some of you, the students, have asked what we need to know now. So this is what included in the new curriculum. Unfortunately, it's not given to you in 2017, but from 2018, knowledge, skills, and attitude and communication. I hope Dr. Geetanjali is going to cover up the soft skills of communication and attitude in her talk. As I have very limited time to explain in detail, I have given all the relevant appropriate links to find out on the website, first-hand from the General Medical Council and relevant medical royal colleges. And you could also get some of the details from the British Council and from Road to UK. And there are some courses from plan preparations. If you still are unable to identify what you want, you can get your questions across to the Careers Forum on the Global Alumni Association website, which is going to be launched today, and you could email to the Global Alumni also. This will be picked up by our alumni, and they will guide and mentor you accordingly. And I would like to dedicate this talk and this service to my classmates and friends who have helped me, my family, and my friends in India during this COVID pandemic. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Haribhaskar, for elaborating on the career pathways. And we are sure that whenever our students from Coimbatore comes, we will be there to guide them and give the necessary help. Thank you very much for your gesture. And now we will invite Dr. Arvind Palaniswamy to give his talk. Arvind is from 93 CMC batch, and he was an anesthetist and got trained in obstetric and gynecology as well. And he is the division chief of obstetric anesthesiology and Associate Professor of Anesthesiology and Obstetrics and Gynecology in the Washington University of School of Medicine, St. Louis. Welcome, Dr. Arvind, to give your talk.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Arvind Palanisamy. I'm an associate professor of anesthesiology, obstetrics, and gynecology at the Washington University School of Medicine. But more importantly, I'm a very fiercely proud alumnus of Coimbatore Medical College, something that I'm always very proud of. So what gives me the credibility to do this talk on career pathways in the United States? So I just want to give you a brief overview of what I've done so far in my life. So after graduating with MBBS from Coimbatore Medical College, I did my MD in anesthesiology at the All India Institute of Medical Sciences, following which I did my FRCA in the United Kingdom and a couple of clinical fellowships at Harvard Medical School in Boston. So this is my unique experience of doing post-graduation in 3 different countries, but the opportunity to share my experiences with you. So when it comes to career options in the United States, the first and foremost and the most direct option is to apply for a residency program. But it's also the most nerve-wracking because it's full of fear, uncertainty, and doubt, because the success rate for international medical graduates to be placed in a residency program is about 55 to 60%. So when you're considering what disciplines to apply to, I just want to share you this particular slide with data from the past 3 years, looking at the more friendly programs towards international medical graduates. So obviously internal medicine is one, family medicine, pediatrics, and psychiatry are the top 4 for international medical graduates. So with that in mind, you need to ask yourself what makes a good residency applicant, because you need to be very strong when you apply. Obviously, you need to have very good USMLE scores to get over the initial threshold for interview calls. But more importantly, I think, is a very compelling personal statement that captures all the unique experiences you've had, both as a medical student as well as after graduation. And obviously, you need to hone your interviewing skills and get some really strong letters of recommendation that uniquely highlight your important personality traits. I think that's very important. So don't go for a generic letter, but a very strong letter that characterizes you and personalizes you to the interview committee. So with that in mind, I'm not going to go into the details of the residency application process because I have only 5 minutes, but there are other options to come to the United States. So one is to pursue a clinical fellowship directly, and that's a possibility if you do a residency in one of the top institutions in the country, or if you have trained abroad in the United Kingdom, Australia, or New Zealand. However, this path has become increasingly difficult these days because most of the fellowship programs need the candidates to have done a residency program in the United States. Obviously, you need a lot of contacts to pull this off. And again, the career path in this particular setting is a little unclear because after fellowship, are you going to go back to do residency, or how are you going to chart a career path? So that's always something that you need to think about. Another option is to actually do what's called a research fellowship immediately after medical school or after doing residency in India. And there are multiple options. So the first one is actually doing some bench science, which is a difficult path. The success is delayed. You may not get a paper for 2 years, and it also interferes with your ability to apply for residency program. But what I would recommend is to actually do clinical research because it's much easier. It's much more easier to relate to. And more importantly, you'll be working with clinicians in the United States, and therefore you'll be able to get really good letters of recommendations when you eventually decide to apply for a residency program. I also wanted to highlight some of the alternative options which exist. One is applying directly to a master's program if you have difficulty getting into residency. And for this, you need a GRE as well as TOEFL. The reason I'm mentioning this is because a couple of my colleagues actually took this path and were very highly successful. Both a master's in public health or a generic master's in science, both are good programs, but remember that they're going to cost money, and more importantly, it's going to take 1 to 2 years to complete. But again, if you have difficulty with the residency applications, this is one thing to consider. The other option to consider is to apply directly to a PhD program. Again, you need TOEFL, but GRE is not a requirement in many programs. This is a rarely pursued path, and this is probably meant for people who are genuinely interested in science and want some research experience under the belt. The important thing about this particular pathway is that it does not cost any money. So all of these information is out there in the internet, and I'll be happy to chime in as well. So just to conclude my talk, ship and harbor is safe, but that's not what ships are built for. So be brave, be courageous, and go out to the community as well as explore your horizon. But always give back to your institution. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Arvind, for your encouraging words to the next gen. Now I request Dr. Kalyan Sundaram to invite Dr. Geetanjali.
Next, I welcome Dr. Geetanjali Madam to deliver a talk on personal growth in medical profession. Madam is working as a professor of pediatrics in our college. Is known to everyone, so she doesn't need any introduction. She's known for her enthusiastic teaching and motivation of students. I welcome ma'am.
Thank you for your kind words. Good evening to one and all on this August occasion in the month of August. Without delaying any further, let me go straight away into the topic because I've allotted only 5 to 6 minutes. So what's personal growth in medical profession? Personal growth is very crucial. Personal growth in medical profession is a pathway which we have to choose, and it is the how a student has to evolve oneself during the formative years of medical education. I consider the first 5 years of MBBS medical curriculum as the formative years of medical development because this is crucial for evolution into a globally relevant Indian medical graduate. Personal growth should go hand in hand with professional growth. Only then our life is fully accomplished. That is, an individual first has to recognize oneself, what he or she is, and then develop continually along that pathway to the fullest possible potential. So it's all about balance. How do we enhance our personal growth? We have to strike a balance, and we have to know where to draw the line. And what we should strike a balance between personal life and professional life. A bit of compromise here and a bit of compromise there will take us a long way in enhancing both professional career as well as personal life. And a fine balance is needed between theoretical knowledge of medicine and its practical application. Just voluminous book reading will be of no use unless we put it into practical use. Otherwise, the knowledge will slowly become dormant, dissipate, and disappear. And the converse is also true. Just improving the clinical acumen without updating the medical knowledge will take us nowhere because the eyes do not see what the mind does not know. And now we have to be highly focused, and at the same time we have to do multitasking. Able are those administrators who have the capacity to multitask. So we must know when to be highly focused and when to multitask. And the bridge between being highly focused and multitasking is the fixation of priorities in the right manner. And we have to realize all the time in life that there's only a faint line which exists between self-esteem and ego. We all need to have self-esteem. Only then we can respect ourselves. Only then can prevent ourselves from getting exploited unnecessarily. A person with a good self-esteem listens to others' point of view. But if we cross the line, it is ego. An egoistic person does not take anybody's point of view. Then there's a faint line between assertiveness and aggressiveness. We must know how to put forth our ideas in a firm manner, but without aggression. All the same, we should not be submissive either. We must know when to say no and how to say it in a gentle manner. And there's a lot of difference between critiquing something and criticizing something. Critiquing is just putting forth positive points in some encounter, something we are asked an opinion about, and then telling gently about the negative aspects which can be improved upon without hurting the feelings of the individual in question. But if we cross that limit, that line, it becomes criticizing, which will take us nowhere, which will win us only a lot of enemies and create unpleasantness. So we must know how to draw and where to draw the line. So fixing our priorities right will take a long way. 24 hours a day is not enough in this busy world. But of course, we have to fix our priorities right. And it's very important to be contextual. That is, in life, we meet several individuals. Not that we hate certain individuals and we love certain individuals. It is the certain context about that individuals but that we don't like. So that context, if we don't like, then we must forget it then and there and get along in life. Same individual, if we meet again in some other context which we like about the individual, we must not carry the bitterness around. That is being contextual. And the students can have a passion for certain subject, but then the mentors and the teaching faculty will tell them, no, you have a flair for something else. So we have to decide. The students of tomorrow have to decide wisely. That is, you may be very much interested in surgery, may have a passion for surgery, but then your mentors may tell you, you have such telegraphic memory, you can imbibe so much knowledge, and so medical fields are apt for you. So it is up to you to decide rightly between passion and flair. And no double standards in patient care anywhere, anytime. All patients should have equality and justice of treatment in the resources available. Hibernating in the public sector and then saving all the energy to go to the private sector, which is more lucrative in the evenings, that is not at all right. And in the sunset of our lives, it's going to be our hobbies which we foster and the friendships that we sustain over the long run, which are going to keep us in good stead when we are in the late part of our lives. And very important is learning to let go. Let go of ego, let go of bad habits, and also let go of things that we cannot change, and accept the things as they are if we cannot change them. And empathy, I feel, is a very important quality that every medical professional should imbibe, because we have to place ourselves in the patient's shoes or in the other colleague's point of view. Everything has to be taken into account so that if that happens to us, how will we behave? So if that is imbibed at the spinal level, then we will all be better individuals. Stress is part and parcel of today's world, and de-stressing should go alongside. And then we have to inculcate the right attitudes. What are attitudes? Attitudes are the way which we feel about something or someone. Attitudes are based on past experiences. They can be changed. They are not like personality traits which can be changed. So we have to be very ethical and imbibe values and be responsive, be active listeners. If you are active listeners, 50% of our communication skills are one. And verbal and non-verbal communication skills are also very important, and not to forget the written communication. And reacting from the heart is not important. We should be responsive from the mind level. Getting along with others is very, very crucial, and adaptability is of great importance. And more important is getting along with yourself. Sometimes we have strange moods, whims and fancies. We must get along with ourselves first, know what went wrong with us, and then only get along well with others. And at the end of the day, if something goes wrong, we should not blame others. We should reflect what went wrong, what happened right, how it can be improved better. So that will take us to the next level. Introspection is very, very important for us to become better individuals. And personal life and professional life have to be balanced, as I said earlier. So these are my little thoughts about personal growth in medical profession. So I found this very important quote: the only person you are destined to become is the person you decide to be. So it's all in our hands. Thank you all for patiently listening.
Thank you, ma'am, for enlightening students on multitasking and developing a whole complete person. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Now we move on to the next talk by Dr. Bala Venkat on the future plans of our webinar sessions. Welcome, Dr. Bala Venkat. He is an anesthetist, very busy person, but has a lot of interest in the social activities. He was playing a very stellar role in getting the oxygen generator to our General Hospital, Coimbatore Medical College. So he is a very efficient anesthetist in the block anesthesiology and recognized worldwide, and he has a lot of publications. Welcome, Dr. Bala Venkat.
Good evening, everyone. At the outset, I would like to extend my very sincere thanks to the chairman of our Global Alumni Association, Dr. Ashok Kumar from USA, Dean Dr. Nirmala, the chairman of the academic committee, Dr. Ramalingam, all the senior professors and my teachers of Coimbatore Medical College. It's a very, very important day in the life of each alumni of Coimbatore Medical College, because I visualize this alumni organization has taken on its shoulder the responsibility to convert every student who is passing through this Coimbatore Medical College to be a person who has accomplished excellence both clinically and the soft skills that are needed for a doctor. To make sure that we achieve our target, it has been decided by the academic committee. There will be a webinar every month, one for the postgraduate and one for the undergraduate. The one for the undergraduate, the plan will be given by Dr. Rajesh, but for the postgraduates, it is visualized that we will have each webinar being coordinated from Coimbatore Medical College. For example, if it's pulmonology, the chief of pulmonology of Coimbatore Medical College will be the moderator for the webinar, but we will make sure that alumni with great experience and expertise in this field from across the globe will participate as a faculty, and during the course of the webinar, they will convey to the student the updates, the current practices, so that each postgraduate gets to know what is being done in the world in their specialty. And also we will use the webinar to inculcate the need for audit, research, and clinical excellence. And the very idea is to make sure that collectively all the experienced faculty from the Coimbatore Medical College alumni will contribute and share their experience and expertise to make every single young, vibrant postgraduate who is coming out of Coimbatore Medical College to be one of the best in the world and to accomplish their task as a great professional. We look forward for each of the postgraduate to support us, and I thank all the alumni who have come forward together to make sure that this alumni will contribute its might to make Coimbatore Medical College one of the best. Thank you so much for the opportunity. We look forward to working with each one of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Balavenkat, for your words of wisdom and your plans for the future. Now I welcome Dr. Rajesh Rangasamy to give his talk on his plans of future webinars. Yes, Dr. Rajesh is a interventional radiologist trained in the US, and he has a lot of experience in innovations and doing complex cases. He's been a much sort of teacher in interventional radiology, and he does a lot of charity through an organization called Order. Even in the COVID situation, over 24 hours he could collect something like 1 crore, and then you could very quickly transfer it to Coimbatore Medical College in the form of oxygen generator. It is not concentrator, it's a generator. It is, he has generated this attitude and motivated many of the people here who had joined with him and then execute that project through some of the organization in Coimbatore. And thank you very much, Rajesh, on behalf of all the alumni, and welcome to your talk.
Good evening, everyone. I am Rajesh Rangaswamy. I practice neurointervention in Reno, Nevada, USA. So, first of all, I would like to thank Global Alumni faculty for giving this wonderful opportunity, particularly Dr. Balavenkat sir. And he basically gave his 5 minutes to me to talk about it. Thank you, sir. So today I'm going to talk about future plan of undergraduate webinars and what the global alumni is going to do. So before going further, I want to tell a very short story. This was 1992, I just joined the medical school. Just within a month, I think, it was a physiology orals. And I did my school and everything in Tamil medium, and I don't even know the meaning of orals. So I was just standing in front of the hall, and Dr. Jacob sir is the examiner. And I was asking people like, hey, என்னடா oralna என்னடா? And they're telling, hey, நீ சார் ரொம்ப strict, நீ முடிஞ்ச. I was, oh my God, what I'm going to do? So I went inside and I immediately told, sir, நான் தமிழ் மீடியம், எனக்கு ஒரு வார்த்தை கூட ஒரு இங்கிலீஷில் பேச தெரியாது, தயவுசெய்து, பட் நான் படிச்சிருக்கேன், பட் என்னால் என்ன சொல்றதுன்னு தெரியல சார், இதுதான் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் எக்ஸாம். And he looked at me for a few minutes. And then you know what he said? தம்பி, நீங்க படிச்சிருக்கேன்னு சொல்றீங்க, நீங்க கவலைப்படாதீங்க, நல்லா படிங்க, ஹார்ட் ஒர்க் பண்ணுங்க, லாங்குவேஜ் பத்தி கவலைப்படாதீங்க, இட் வில் கம் டு யூ. அண்ட் அட் த எண்ட் 5 வருஷம் முடியும் போது நீங்க ஒரு நல்ல டாக்டரா போவீங்க. Then he did, like he's put 7 out of 10, which is no one, Jacob sir, and he rarely put more than 5. And that particular exam, that was the topper, without even answering a single question. So I took his advice very seriously, in the sense I worked hard, but never bothered about my language. So that's why maybe even after 20 years being in US, my English is still sloppy and still don't know. My wife, Nitya, she tells, I don't even know how to pronounce my name. I say Rajesh. And I said, oh, it's Rajesh. So I stopped saying my full name. I just say Raj now. So that's the story. So, because of the teachers like Jacob sir, I'm here and doing, what I'm doing. Thank you, sir. Okay, so let's go on to the topic now. That's future plan of undergraduate webinars. So it's the medical school curriculum, like how we teach the medicine to students. There are multiple ways of teaching medicine. Like traditionally, it's called like a non-block system, which is what all the Indian medical schools are doing. Like, we teach anatomy and physiology and pharmacology in the first year, and then microbiology and so on. So in the second year like that, and then in the clinics, we get a case and 5 to 10 people together learn the case. Excellent system, there's no doubt about it. But there's a different system where some of the foreign medical schools, including my school and University of Nevada, they're moved to a system-based teaching. So what is system-based teaching? Even from the first day of med school, the students they learn system by system. For example, take a nervous system. So then they learn anatomy, physiology, pharmacology, and medicine, surgery of a nervous system. They finish everything. And before going to the next, like a cardiovascular. So like 1 or 2 months they read, then learn about it, then they move on to the other system. So that's called system-based learning. So, there are like pros and cons for each system. So, but these curriculums can complement each other. For example, our excellent teaching system, traditional system is very good. There's no doubt about it. And, it prepares for the medical school exams and be a good doctor and everything. It's all good. But, this system, like system-based, what our plans are, like a global alumni is going to give to the students, it can make, the students better prepared for the entrance exams, because it kind of gives the whole, medicine and, just you can grasp the whole idea. You might have forgotten anatomy and physiology, then you're learning, medicine after 3-4 years. So here you just get a good grasp of it. So it can complement each other. So that's what the global alumni is going to do. So I don't want to take too much of time, and no, this is for medical students who were watching this. Whatever your career dreams might be, along with the Coimbatore Medical College teachers, the global alumni will help you to achieve your dreams. And just think about me. If I can do this, a Tamil medium student from Mangalakarai Pudur, if I can do this and be here, medical director and stroke in Reno, and everyone can do it. All you have to do is work hard, dream well, and we are here to help you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Dr. Rajesh. Regarding your first part of the speech, I agree with you. Language is no bar when you have the knowledge, attitude, and interest. I think I accept, because I have experienced this with many of my students who came from Tamil medium. In fact, in our first batch, out of 50, 42 were from Tamil medium at that time, 1966, I remember. But all of us are doing well, irrespective of whether we are Tamil medium or English medium. Now, regarding your second part and your accomplishment in bringing the sinking ship to the shore, along with Bala Venkat and other like-minded people, it was just really amazing. The moment I heard about the news, I phoned up your parents and also thanked them, and I put it in my status also. So now it has become a global talk. I'm not exaggerating. And you have set up a big example of how one alumnus should pay back. And once you set the standards, all of the future generation will follow. Thank you very much. God bless.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Rajesh, for your wonderful gesture, and we appreciate. And
thank you. Thank you, sir.
Now we request Professor P.C. Raju to officially launch our website. Launch the newsletter. Next, I'm going to give you a surprise. Dr. Raghu and Dr. Kannan will release the newsletter, and I'll be the lucky person to get the first copy. Dr. Raghu?
Dr. Raghu and Kannan will give the first copy to Dr. Ramalingam, who is behind this inaugural function, and it's a wonderful job done by Kannan. In spite of lack of timing, he has brought a newsletter, and this contains a few pages from the alumni, and this is likely to be a regular feature in future.
And Kannan is the man behind the newsletter. It's a phenomenal work. Done. Day and night he sat and then finished it in just over a week. It's unbelievable work. Thank you so much, Kannan. Anand, can we have Mohan sir on the Mohan? And I would like to also recognize the work done by Dr. Mohan, working in the public health department, who was instrumental in motivating the website launching, and amazing work done by Dr. Mohan and Kannan, and Santosh Kriti Technologies was instrumental in getting this one. But the whole idea came from Dr. Chandrasekhar from UK, the orthopedic surgeon. So a very good team and team effort. Thank you, Dr. Chandru, Mohan and Kannan. Phenomenal work. Thank you, Santosh. Are you here? Yeah, we want to recognize you. Please come. A shawl. I request Kirtika to give a shawl to Santosh. Is the web designer. He has done a phenomenal work. And the great thing about Santosh is he never asks anything. So you tell me what to do, and he never asks any revenue out of it. You give what you feel like. That's a unique attitude. Thank you. Thank you, Santosh. Anand, Mahalingam is coming online. Now we have another great personality from Ireland. This is Dr. Ravichandran. Ravichandran is a radiologist in Manchester, interested in the interventional radiology, and he has been kind enough to donate a multi-probe ultrasound machine to our institution, and it's a great gesture. Thank you very much, Ravi. I know him personally, a very, very kind person, and he has a small recorded message to us. Can you play that? Audio.
I'm a consultant radiologist in the UK. Recently, we donated a portable sonocyte ultrasound machine with a range of probes which will be useful in very different clinical scenarios within our hospital, and it was graciously accepted by our dean. This was a large team effort with our alumni donating very quickly and generously to the effort, and even some friends and even my neighbors donated. Then much of the ideas and difficulties we faced in India was mitigated by a lot of people helping us throughout the effort by giving appropriate warnings that this won't work, or encouraging me to do positive things which will work there. And they guided me and were with me together through 3 failed projects before this successful one. Hopefully, this will be very useful in day-to-day patient care within our hospital, both in the hands of consultants as well as in the hands of trainees, to give them hands-on experience with ultrasound, which is very important literally in all departments nowadays. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ravi, for your kind gesture. Now we have the Dr. Mahalingam, robotic orthopedic surgeon, so very busy. Even today he had 5 cases. He has come in between the cases. Thank you, Mahalingam, being our batchmate, and your kind gesture to donate the smart board, and many more to come from your side. Thank you. Join us and say a few words.
And thank you, Ramalingam, and I want to appreciate all of you have taken this project and to bring it to this level. I'm really humble and honored to present a small token of my, to my ability, the smart board, and I hope hopefully I'll be able to do much more to my college. Now, again, I cannot appreciate more for starting all this Global Doctors Alumni, the CMC Doctors Alumni Association, and also I want to congratulate our Golden Jubilee for our batchmates as well. And I hope I would like to take an active part in teaching our next generation, hopefully generations to come. And I want every one of the young people to get some inspiration from all of us. Thank you guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mahalingam. You will be in the webinar in the future. When you come here, I will request Dr. Nirmala to even demonstrate some surgeries here, because you have been an international figure, and we would like to learn from you. Thank you, Dr. Mahalingam.
I'll be very happy to get involved. Thank you.
I will request Dean, Madam. Now we have the pleasant...
and also, if a medical college allows, we can even bring fellows from Coimbatore Medical College to Ireland, and I will facilitate that.
So thank you for the offer. So nice of you. Now I have the pleasant... thank you, Mahalingam.
I will organize travel, accommodation, and fellowship through my hospital. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
There are many in the waiting list.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now I have the pleasant job of requesting our Dean Nirmala to recognize the good work done by our people in designing the emblem. Adit Nandan's daddy will receive the appreciation of designing the emblem, which is so wonderful. It's amazing work. And Krishnalini to receive the appreciation from Dr. Kalyan Sundaram. And Kishore Kumar to receive the appreciation from Dr. Arul Selvan. Arul, Kishore. Okay, someone can get on his behalf. He can receive. So thank you. Convey our wishes. Now we will move on to the next session, where we, the faculty and interested mentors, have expressed our views. But let us listen from our students. The final year student, Kirtika, and then Pranav, to air their views, what they expect from us, and how we can be helpful. Pranav.
Good morning, all. So, firstly, I would like to thank all the alumni for giving me this opportunity. Thank you, sir. Once again, good morning all. So thank you alumni for giving this opportunity to talk on behalf of all the postgraduates. So to start up with, I'm feeling extremely nervous and excited to be in the stage. Like how a ardent cricket fan will feel when he stands in front of Sachin Tendulkar and MS Dhoni. That's how it is for me right now. So to begin with, I'm supposed to talk about the top priorities on behalf of postgraduates. So initially, before that, I want to share you all about something, that is to people who are not aware of the process that underwent to build this e-library. So I'll share few of the occasions in which I was a part of it. So initially, like few days back, there was a Zoom meeting that was held and by the alumni, and I was also invited to be part of it. So when I joined the meeting, I was a very silent observer. So there was a serious discussion that was going on between the alumni. They were discussing about buying new computers for our hospital. Then there was also discussion about buying mannequins to teach about BLS and ACLS for us. And they were also talking about getting a smart screen and taking webinars on it. And even Xerox machines to ease the life of us. And moreover, more than that, they said they are even going to get us a free access to over 2,000 journals. And listening to all that, the first thought that came into my mind was, maybe they are talking about a project that's going to happen over years. But it has been just 2 months since that meeting happened, and now the inauguration for the e-library is happening. This was possible just because of their dedication, their hard work, and the sweat they have put into it. Nextly, by the end of the meeting, they even asked me whether I want to add anything to this. I was like awestruck, shocked. I was like, already whatever offer that has been put in the list is something that even we wouldn't have dreamt of in our life. And I had nothing more to add to it. Then the amazing part is our alumni have reached the topmost position in their careers. They're the most well-renowned, most famous doctors around the world. But still, even after reaching the topmost position, they want to provide a proper education for their juniors, and they want their juniors also to become one among them. And that is something very inspirational for all of us. The second thing, even regarding the inauguration, they were so particular, even the smallest dirt in the wall should be removed. And it was so amazing that even after reaching the topmost position in the world, they're so sincere about whatever work they're doing. So why I'm saying all this is, I'm requesting all the postgraduates to consider this as their own temple and be very sincere. And we cannot pay back the help that alumni did to us. The only thing that we can give back to them is a gratitude by doing a lot of researches and excelling in academics and earning name and fame for this institution. Lastly, this initiative is something that is not there even in the topmost, the apex government college in our Tamil Nadu. So I would request all the students as an honor to give a standing ovation and a big round of applause to our alumni and the administration. Thank you. Lastly, I'm supposed to talk about the top priorities. As I already said, whatever we got itself is something we wouldn't have dreamt of that we would get. So, but there's one suggestion that has been put forth by all the postgraduates and all the students. That is an availability of a studying hall that will be open till the late evenings. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Pranav. Now it is Kirtika's turn. Kirtika is a final year student who has been in the launching committee right from the beginning and very active participant. Add your views.
Good evening to all the great minds that our Coimbatore Medical College has nurtured over the past years. Good evening, respected Dean, professors, postgraduates and friends. Good evening to all my seniors attending this inauguration virtually. I'm Kirtika Vijay Kumar, a final year student of 2017 batch. It is a privilege for me to be standing here today, delivering the speech in front of all of you on behalf of all the undergraduate students of our college. To start with, we thank Dr. Ashok Kumar Sir, 1970 batch, founder of this association, whose idea that started as a small seed has blossomed into such a large tree today, consisting of doctors from around the globe, from America to Australia, all being connected together with one common thing, which is the tree's roots being from our college right here. Next, we would like to thank Dr. Ramalingam sir, 1971 batch, who has led this e-library project and turned his dream and also ours into reality today in such a short span of time. We wholeheartedly thank Dr. Sajni ma'am and the entire 1971 batch for sponsoring this project. And we also thank our Dean, Dr. Nirmala ma'am, without whose support this wouldn't have been possible. And now coming to the academic priorities of undergraduate students. As undergrads, a very few of us are involved in research, but almost all of us prepare for PG NEET exams. So any sort of institutional access to PG preparatory material will be very useful and beneficial to all the students without doubt. And as I said, to increase and encourage undergrad research in our college, a program similar to the ICMR STS can be begun by our alumni. In ICMR STS, one student will work under one guide and on a research study, and on successful completion of the study, the student will be awarded a certificate and a grant. So similar to that, one student from our college can work under an alumni mentor, and on successful completion of that project, a sort of recognition can be given to the student. And the next suggestion is that to create a network of alumni who are willing to host Coimbatore Medical College students as observers or to do an elective. So once, as our website is launched, we could have an online portal wherein interested alumni can list their specialty, place of residence, and time and duration which they would like to have us as observers. And students can go through the list, and if it matches our interest and feasibility, we can apply either through the association or directly to the doctor. This will give us great exposure and increase our hands-on experience, and also create good connections between our alumni and current students. And similar to our college library, it would be great if this e-library also had a reading hall attached to it, which will work in the evening hours as well after college, because we would be having classes during the day. And finally, to keep more suggestions coming, even anonymously, it would be nice to have a suggestion box in the learning center. So once again, I thank the senior members of the academic committee for giving me this opportunity to express our views and priorities to all our alumni across the world. And on behalf of all the undergraduate students of Coimbatore Medical College, I wholeheartedly thank every member who has generously contributed to the association and every person working hard to achieve our mission statement of making Coimbatore Medical College and Hospital a world-class institution. Thank you.
Thank you, Kirtika and Pranav. We are going to discuss with our Dean and Dr. Geetanjali, our academic nodal officer, to probably set up a committee here involving the faculty of each department, so that whatever the webinars they want, whatever the help they want in setting up a project or research, and we are going to help in the best possible way. I can assure that there are a number of people all around the world are waiting to help all of you. We are here to help you. Dr. Nirmala Madam is here to channelize it to you, and Dr. Geetanjali will always be for the students. Be rest assured that all help will come. Now we will move on to the next agenda. Thiru Rajagopal from Sacramento, a robotic general surgeon and cancer surgeon, is going to give the closing remarks. Thiru, you are welcome. Anand, Dr. Thiru, is he coming live? Hi, nice to see you.
Good evening. Vanakkam. I am Thiru Navukkarasu Rajagopal, belonging to 71 batch. My dear friends, colleagues, respected teachers, and Dr. Nirmala, the Dean of CMC. It is a special moment for me to join with all of you to celebrate the inauguration of CMC Global Doctors Alumni Association. At the very outset, I want to recognize few of my colleagues, like Dr. Ashok Kumar, Dr. Ramalingam, Sajri George, and Shanmuraj, and others for their dedicated and passionate efforts to start this association. One of our goals is to uplift the CMC as one of the centers of academic excellence in the future. Research is not something limited to few centers like Oxford, Harvard, or other top institutions. People often get confused with the schooling and learning. CMC is well known for the dedicated teachers and talented graduates who are recognized all over the world. Let me remind you that the tree is known by its fruits. As my senior colleague Dr. Sheshadri mentioned, research starts with the curiosity. The curiosity triggers the creativity. Research is the engine behind the science. Science and society are inseparable twins. Research can be primary, that is qualitative, fact-finding, or secondary, quantitative, reviewing the data from the primary research. There are several ways to participate in research. It could be basic, clinical, epidemiological. It can be interventional, it could be observational. But we have to start one of them with available resources and bandwidth. Our global alumni group wants to support your academic efforts by providing like an e-library equipped with digital tools, smart boards, computers, and evidence-based medical research engines like ProQuest, which is loaded with thousands of articles. We are also exploring other ways of supporting our upcoming graduates with the help of installing similar and incentive programs for the mentors and research scholars. We also want to reach out to other medical institutions in around Coimbatore as well as the biotech companies to support our generational project. The end point is not simply producing papers, but to bring the innovative spirit out of everyone to address the population-related health issues. Let me conclude my remarks with a couplet from ancient Tirukkural, Noi Nadi, Noi Mudal Nadi, Adithanikum Vai Nadi Vaipai Chayal. That's the best definition of personal medicine. Understand the root cause of the disease, find out the method of cure, and treat according to the knowledge. With that conclusion, I'm turning over to my good friend Sajani George, who has a task of performing the oath of thanks. Good evening.
Thank you, Thiru, for your concluding remarks. And there are many people who would like to probably take up the research in the line where you are doing, like molecular biology level in the cancer research. I will just connect them to you. Please guide them and then mentor them. And whenever you come to India, please spend some time discussing about how you do the research projects and how you can help inculcate that habit in our students. Thank you very much for your gesture. And now I have the pleasant job of inviting Dr. Aruna to say a few words on concluding remarks. A vote of thanks. Aruna?
Vote of thanks. Sorry for snatching the mic. It's a friendly snatch. Okay. Now we have some thing to offer to Dr. Professor Ramalingam. It's a surprise. And he has done so much for the alumni, global alumni, and it's a kind of a gratitude that we show to Dr. Ramalingam and also the entire batch. And please accept this small gift, which we kept it very confidential, and only the launch team knows. The launch team, except Ramalingam, everybody knows. Please accept it. Thank you very much.
Dr. Manikaraj, if I may say a few words, please.
Ashok sir, I think you can.
Hi.
A few words.
Ashok online.
Sir is asking Dr. Manikaraj sir to talk few words, sir, about Ramalingam sir.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Ashok sir, ask him to speak a few words, I think, sir.
Sir, Dr. Ashok Kumar would like to express something, sir. Just a second. Dr. Ashok? Yes, sir. Please go ahead. Sir, you're muted, sir.
I take just a minute
Yes, sir.
to announce this award. It is with great pleasure I present to you, the entire audience, our Alumnus of the Year, Dr. Ramalingam. Many from our alumni deserve this title. Criteria for selection included significant contribution to our alma mater through our Alumni Association. So congratulations to Dr. Ramalingam for the well-deserved recognition by the Alumni Association.
Thank you.
Now, I'm here to propose the vote of thanks. It's indeed a great pleasure and privilege to propose the vote of thanks among this august audience. First and foremost, I would like to thank Dr. Nirmala Madam, Dean of Coimbatore Medical College, for kindly accepting the invitation and coming here, and also giving us space for the present function, and also accepting for the e-library. Thank you, Madam. I also thank one and all who have attended the function both virtually and in person, despite their busy schedule on a Friday, to make this function a grand one. I also extend my immense thanks to Mr. Santosh and his team for their website creation in a short span. It was very short time that we had given them, and they had created in with no time a very nice website that which was launched today. I also extend my heartfelt gratitude to Mr. Anand and his team for making this function both a hybrid one, making this function a hybrid one, and allowing our alumni worldwide to view and participate in this function. Thank you, Mr. Anand, for your good teamwork. Thank you. I would also extend my gratitude to Dr. Kannan and Dr. Mohan for their tireless work for starting from the start of the inaugural function work. They had been working tirelessly regarding preparing the newsletter and going up and down for getting things down from Chennai to Coimbatore, and also a lot of things they had done which was behind the scenes. Thank you to Dr. Kannan and Dr. Mohan. Thank you, Kannan, only you are here. I also would like to thank the organizing team, which along with our PGs, actually the PGs and the CRRAs were involved very much, and they helped us in the last minute in organizing all these rooms, and they were with us till from yesterday and today. They had worked a lot. I would like to name a few. I would like to thank Dr. Pranav, Dr. Arjun, Dr. May Vasagam, Dr. Ashik, Dr. Ashwati, Dr. Rafiq, Dr. Gayatri, Dr. Kamali, Dr. Ashwini, Dr. Sneha, Swatika, and Shalini. All of them had helped us throughout these 2 days, stayed with us to complete this function. Thank you. And now over to Dr. Sajini Madam to thank the rest of the team. Over to Sajini Ma'am.
Vanakkam.
From Chicago, this is Sajni Thomas, 1971 batch. It is an honor to stand before you representing the Coimbatore Medical College Global Alumni Association to deliver this vote of thanks, which comes from the bottom of my heart. Where do I begin? It has been an exciting but a bit of a roller coaster experience leading up to this D-Day. And folks, we did it. The dream of establishing an education and research center has become a reality and finally materialized for me. For me, this is just the beginning of a united front with a mutual affiliation between the college, hospital, and the global alumni to achieve our goal of making Coimbatore Medical College a world-class institution. Let me start by thanking Dean Nirmala, our chief guest. Ma'am, thank you for making yourself available to us in spite of your busy schedule. We could not have achieved this without your support and commitment. The cherry on the top is the fact you are an alumni of Coimbatore Medical College yourself, and it makes us proud to have you as our chief guest. You have not only been instrumental in the success of this project, but also helped create a lasting bond between the college faculty, students, and the global alumni. Thank you, ma'am. On behalf of all present here, I thank you for the excellent overview on clinical research. Dr. Sheshadri is not only an icon in the academic world, but also a straight shooter with a down-to-earth approach in making the most difficult task appear simple. His crisp and clear introduction to research will definitely have an encouraging impact on the young doctors and will negate their fears when venturing into research projects. Dr. Sheshadri, your commitment to academics is to be respected and praised. Thank you, sir, not just for today, but for your continued support and acceptance to head this research program at the Education and Research Center. Next, to some very special people, to all you members and distinguished guests, thank you for your presence at this inauguration. You braved the pandemic to come and show your support to the Global Alumni Association. Thank you. Today would never have been a success without your presence. This is the best encouraging cheer for the Alumni Association. Thank you for your presence and cheers. To our respected legendary teachers, we are truly honored to have you here, gracing this special occasion. It is thanks to the dedicated, passionate, and brilliant teachers we had that we are able to gather here today for this inauguration. This is truly a platform not only to honor you, but for you to feel proud of what we, your students, have all achieved. The solid foundation you gave us has enabled each of us to grow to this status. It has also made us realize that it's time to give back to our alma mater. It would be thoughtless of me if I did not thank all our teachers who are not present here at this function and those who have gone to their heavenly abode. You molded us into what we are today. Ma'am, sir, thank you. Now to all the members of the Global Alumni, and especially the launch team and the dynamic leaders, Dr. Ashok Kumar and Dr. Shanmugaraj. You guys have been simply awesome. Thank you. Working through the world's different time zones is not an easy one. Thank you all for the long hours of hard work with Zoom sessions and elaborate WhatsApp messages that has even made my poor Heberden nose more prominent. Thanks to all the frontline workers of the launch team, and a very special thank you to our friends working from behind the scene. Dr. Chandra, Dr. Kannan, Dr. Mohan Kumar, you guys have all been just spectacular in what you guys have done. We had our ups and downs, but we stayed together as a united front, collectively focused on achieving our goals. Thanks to our young worker bees, Dr. Kirtika and Dr. Pranab, you have helped us identify and prioritize the needs and also helped the team on the ground to make this inaugural day a success. Special thanks to all our distinguished speakers, from Dr. Ashok to Dr. Rajagopal, and all the speakers in between for their excellent talks and also for their superb time management. Our thanks to our colleagues who participated in the inauguration ceremony, starting from Dean Nirmala to Dr. Kalyana Sundaram, and all our colleagues who I cannot mention due to time constraints. They carried out their special duties without a flaw. Thank you. To our chairs for this special day, again, due to time constraints, not mentioning names, but you all held the fort and saw that the program proceeded without an hiccup. I must thank our beautiful young and the seasoned ladies from across the globe who lit the ceremonial lamp and brought light and vision to this special day. Dr. Kannan, thanks for that melodious prayer song, totally appropriate for this occasion. Now, I cannot forget others who have been instrumental in the successful event today. Thanks to all our carpenters, janitors, IT experts, computer wizards, and our audio-video pros, headed by none other than Mr. Anand. Mr. Adit Nandan, your youthful and bright ideas were sure appreciated when you designed our global alumni emblem. Thank you and good luck for the future. Dr. Krishalini and Dr. Kishore Kumar, thanks for your contribution and the development of the global website. A great future lies ahead for you both. I have left the best for last. A big thank you to the man himself who made this happen. I am honored to call him Dr. Ramalingam Anna. Yes, our very own 1971 batchmate, Dr. Ramalingam, our Energizer battery. Folks, he is one incredible human being. We need to start thinking of cloning him. His brain and body are constantly in action, and he continues to function like a fine-tuned Ferrari. It is amazing what we have been able to achieve, and it is thanks to this great man's vision, hard work, and commitment. God bless you, sir. Ramalingam Anna, thank you. Also, a big thank you for giving me the title of Tangachi. Just by 2 months, I managed to get that title. Last but not least, a big hurrah to our 1971 batch of Coimbatore Medical College. We did it. Yes, the trailblazers of 1971. Thank you all for the support. Wishing all a very happy Golden Jubilee year. We had big plans for a fantastic celebration, but what better way to remember the special year as we leave behind a token of gratitude to our alma mater, a key to the future, knowledge. Knowledge is gold, and gold we leave behind on our Golden Jubilee year in the form of the Education and Research Center with resources for accessing knowledge using the software ProQuest, webinar sessions conducted by renowned professors and experienced local and global faculty, and hands-on workshops at the SimLab. Thank you all. It's been a fantastic journey towards our goal. And folks, remember, this is just the beginning. God bless and stay safe. Jai Hind.
I also extend my thanks to Dr. Manikrat sir and Ramurthy sir, without whose guidance we would not have done this. During each and every decision making, we had to get both of their opinions, and both of them were along with us throughout the journey. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, Sajini. And now we will have the national anthem played. Let's stand for the
Jana Jana Mangala
Sajini ma'am,
Yes.
Anandya, congratulations.
Oh, congratulations and thank you. You made